What is up, everybody? All things entertaining here, bringing you the brand new video, and today we have something quite interesting. No, your eyes do not deceive you. This is a first place OCG Celtic Guardian deck that, well, took first place as the title suggests in the OCG. Granted, this was a 16-person tournament, so it's not that spectacular that something like this would happen, but the size of a locals deck winning like this, a deck like this winning at the size of a locals tournament is kind of impressive, especially since it kind of came out of left field and literally, no one could have been playing around this deck. This guy, whoever did this, literally had the moment of surprise on his side. It's kind of interesting, and it also just shows that even your worst decks aren't even safe from being $300 plus, because this guy is running a triple Pot of Extravagance in his deck, and he's playing single copies of each of his extra deck monsters. So without any further ado, let's just jump right into the deck list. So first things first, we have 3 Celtic Guardian, the original OG guy. You can easily just go into Linkuriboh and special summon these cards for free, so it's pretty good there. We also have 3 Celtic Guard of the Noble Arms. It can't attack if you have cards in your hand once per turn. You can special summon 1 Celtic Guard monster from your hand. When this attacking card inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you could draw cards equal to the number of Celtic monsters you control. So ideally, you want to have 0 cards in your hand, which is why you're playing a bunch of traps, so you could just set them, and then you could just draw like a couple of cards off the fact that you just dealt 2,100 points of damage to your opponent. So it's pretty good for what it is. 1 Obnoxious Celtic Guard. Yes, even this card made the cut into the deck list somehow. This little card that cannot be destroyed by battle with monsters with 1900 or more attack somehow made it, and that's all it does. And 3 Barriers statue of the Drought, because it makes sense. They're all Earth. I mean, why wouldn't you? It synergizes well with the deck. Onto the spells, we have 1 Rhoda, 3 Extravagance, 3 Card of Demise, 2 Pot of Duality, 2 Scapegoat. Keep in mind they have 3 Card of Demise in the OCG as well as 2 Scapegoats, so that's why if you see that there's no limitations on this one and you see this a card at 2, that's why. These cards are just really good consistent cards to play. This is good for any warrior deck, so you might as well play it. And Scapegoat is just good Borrelsword fodder. It makes your OTKs easier. This is just simply just an OTK, and I guess the Celtic Guardian cards are just here to make that all tied together. Next, we have the absurd amount of traps that he's running. He has 3 Storming Mirror Force, 2 Infinite Impermanence, 2 Heavy Storm Duster, 3 Compulse, 3 Crackdown, 1 Imperial Order, 3 Solemn Judgment, and 2 Solemn Warning. Now, with the package of 2 Solemn Warning and 3 Solemn Judgment, alongside the Infinite Impermanence, plus the Compulse and the Crackdowns, your opponent probably isn't going to be playing through your board. And even if they do, if they manage to attack you, if they manage to get anything on the board, you'll just spit it back to their hand. And that's all there is, folks. And this is just good back row removal in general. So we play that card. Next, onto the extra deck, we play 1 Last Warrior from Another Planet. He's playing 2 Waken the Dragon, so that makes sense for Heavy Storm, Duster, Twin Twisters, Raigeki, Lightning Storm, you name it. He's playing against it, so he might as well play Waken the Dragons. And he's also playing a heavy back row deck, so you know, just catching your opponent off guard with the Waken the Dragons is going to be very, very crucial. One Utopia Lightning plus Utopia, so simple Utopia package, easy OTKs, easy damage. Tornado Dragon for your back row. Bagooska, because it's a good floodgate like monster. 1 Evilswarm Exciton, not just to clear the board. 1 Avramax, because that card's really good. Borrelsword OTK. Ningirsu, because it potentially draws cards. Knightmare Unicorn and Phoenix, because they're pretty good. Aussa, the Earth Charmer Aloft, because you're playing Earth monsters, you might as well synergize and get cards that are easily dependable. Also, these cards all have less than 1500 defense, so that's all good there. 1 Security Dragon, 1 Link Spider, because this also synergizes with your 3 Celtic Guardians if you happen to draw those. 1 Linkuriboh, because you're playing Scapegoat. So it's pretty good. Onto the side deck, he's playing 3 Inspector Border, because he's kind of playing a snub deck, so you might as well capitalize on your opponent being able to not play the game. Also, it seems like that this deck is this heavily implies that your deck is meant to go first. So your opponent is going to attempt to make you or this deck is heavily inclined to go second, so they're going to make you go first. So this is going to be an interesting way to do so. And just in case if they don't make you go first, you have the Pancratopsis to punish them with that, as well as the Harpy's Feather Duster. 2 Moonmere Shield, just in case if you can't make Borrelsword for whatever reason. 2 Book of Eclipse, because it's sort of a pseudo extra board clear. It's also pretty good. 1 Heavy Storm Duster. 1 Dark Bride, because apparently he didn't have a 3rd Solemn Warning to put in the side deck. 1 Infinite Impermanence, because he thought 3 Compulse was way better, which maybe is true, but maybe it is true in this particular instance. And 2 Waking the Dragon, because, you know, it's pretty good. So yeah, it's kind of crazy to see what the OCG just cooks up on a daily basis. This is not something irregular, actually. The OCG comes up with some crazy deck ideas and some crazy stuff. So I kind of want to see what else they can do in the future with the new Master Rules coming out. And this is just something that we're going to be seeing a little bit more of. Tell me what you guys think about this deck in the deck, and I'll have the deck list in the description down below if you want to copy and paste it to your YGO Pro or your dueling book and you want to play with it. Looks like it's a lot of fun. So yeah, if you guys did enjoy this video, please leave a comment in the comment section down below. I'll see you guys in the next video. This has been All Things Entertaining, signing out.